Inside MCLA, helping inquiring minds better understand the culture at Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts.
Hi, I'm Joshua Curtis, and I believe that one of the best ways to strengthen any community is through engaging in dialogue. I pitched the idea for this podcast because I wanted to learn more about the numerous people who helped shape the college. Today, I have the honor of speaking with Tom WHALEN, one of MCLA's business administrators and professors. Thank you for being on the show today.
Hi, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
So, the first question I have is, what is your job or your jobs on campus?
What are my jobs on campus? So my primary job is I'm a business professor. I teach marketing and management courses here in the business department. And then my other big job is I'm the department chair for the business and economics department.
Okay. How long have you been doing that?
So I've only been the chair since September, well, technically July 1st. But I've been a professor here since fall of 2014. So that's 6.5 years that I've been on campus. I've been in higher education. This is now my 10th year in higher education.
Okay. What kind of challenges does your job entail?
So let me flip it back on you. So remember, I have two jobs. Which job do you want me to talk about first?
Department chair.
Okay, so being a department chair is can be challenging because in general, everyone on this campus has academic freedom, and so we really like to do what we want to do. And so it's probably the most pure form of leadership anywhere. And I've been dealing with leadership positions since I was 18, which was 42 years ago. Yes, you can do the math. I'm really old. But it's probably the most pure form of leadership in that I can't order someone to do something. I can't demand that they do this. So when I worked in the corporate world, if someone didn't do something, I could say, "Oh, you're fired." Not that I did that very often.
Yeah.
Or when I was in the Navy, when I was an officer, I could tell Airman Schmuckatelli, "I need you to do this job," and that's an order if it came down to it. Usually, I would try to be more persuasive. But here, when dealing with faculty, it is all about persuasion, and it's all about leading by example, and it's all about leading, telling people why what we're doing is important. And 99 times out of 100, when faculty realize that whatever it is we need to do is here to help students, mm-hmm. They're all in on it. So faculty on this campus are spring-loaded to help students. Yeah.
It's just like, for you said, it's just like giving them enough context to believe that the things that you're proposing is it's helping students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say we want to develop a new field of study, right? And so I might need someone to go read some books and develop a new course. I might need somebody to do some research and to go out and interview students and find out something. Usually, if I put it in the context of this will help our institution and ultimately help our students.
Yeah.
Everybody's there for us.
Okay. And I would imagine some of those same challenges you have when it comes to being an administrator is also, it carries over into when you're being a professor itself.
Well, the challenges for being a professor, because these are I get to teach topics that I know and love. So, for example, this semester I'm teaching a leadership course and an international business course. I've been nearly around the world. I've been to 34 countries. I've done business. I did business for 12 years overseas. When I was in the Navy, I was dealing with all these different cultures. that is a topic that I love it. And with the leadership course, we're discussing and practicing and reading about and writing about and talking more about and practicing more about how to be leaders. And the conversations I have in the classroom are just rich. And I probably learn more from my students than they learn from me. It's a great, there are two wonderful classes that I'm teaching right now. And so rarely do I have the same challenges in the classroom that I have from department chair point of view. The challenges I have in the classroom is oftentimes, wow, I have all this information that I have to pack into 14 or 15 weeks, into 26 classroom meetings. How do you pack all that in? It's a whole different stuff. And there, oftentimes, you're making trade-offs. So is it better to go deep on one topic than to cover many topics lightly? I usually go for let's dig into a topic. I much prefer to do that where, why are we doing this? So last week we were talking about what motivates people. And so we talked about Maslow and how Maslow may or may not be right. But everybody got into it. Well, what motivates you? Johnny, what motivates you? Sally, what motivates you? And everybody gets to talking, and the conversations really become rich. And I just love it. I mean, I can't wait to go to class.
Thank you for sharing that. You were talking about you did business overseas. What kind of business was that? Like, what kind of things did you do?
So the first thing that caused me to do business overseas, I was a Navy pilot, and eventually as the aircraft commander, I would take a crew of sailors and the support folks that would fix our airplane. And so, for example, 23 of us climbed in an airplane and we went to Toulon, France, and we were in Toulon, France for about 8 days, and we flew a variety of missions with the French, but then we're also interacting with the French. And so in the Navy, I dealt a lot with our NATO allies in France or in Europe. But then my second, what they call a sea tour, was on an aircraft carrier in the Western Pacific, and we were home ported in Yokosuka, Japan. And as on the aircraft carrier, now we come into port and I'm dealing with Japanese workers that come in and repair things on our ship. When we pull into a place, say like the Philippines or the United Arab Emirates, I am working with the folks in those countries that are servicing our ship and doing things like that. So that was my first career. So as a naval officer, then my second career, I worked for a company called Itronics, and Itronics was eventually purchased by General Dynamics, and we made very tough laptop computers. Okay. If your audience could see it, there's one of my very tough laptop computers up on the wall, hanging up by the window there.
Okay.
And so in order to make these computers, we dealt with suppliers in Taiwan, outside of Shanghai. We dealt with folks in Hong Kong, in Macau, and Malaysia. And so in order to get the right parts with the right quality at the right time, I had to make many trips overseas and dealing directly with folks there. So both of my two previous careers before I got into higher education really inform my higher education teaching.
Okay. What's your favorite time of year at MCLA and why?
My favorite time of year. Can I have two?
Go for it.
Go for it. So the first thing that's really cool is at the start of the school year. We have the opening convo. I'm usually teaching first year experience, so I get all the brand new freshmen in, and all the anticipation and hopes and dreams, and it's really cool to work with first-year students. The other part that is just always cool is graduation week, right?
Yeah.
So you have all the award ceremonies where you see your students being honored for all the hard work they do. And then you have, the award ceremonies here in the business department. We have our honors society, Delta Mu Delta induction ceremony, another great experience. Then there's baccalaureate, where we get to the students get to celebrate themselves, and they end up thanking faculty, which is a really cool experience. And then there's commencement itself.
Yeah.
I mean, we get to stand at the end of the runway. They come down, they cross the stage, they come down, and there's hugs and high fives and handshakes and tears, and it's great to celebrate the students. And because here at MCLA, we know every one of our students, and we know all of our students really well. You know what they've been through to get to that point. Some folks, last year we had a kid with a 4.0, right? Yeah. All the way through. 4.0 from beginning to end.
That's dope.
An amazing accomplishment, But then I also have the student who struggled, and every class was a struggle, but they graduated, and so you get to celebrate that, and they give you. I got a couple mementos up on the wall over here from students that gave me stuff, and maybe it's just a picture that you took with them at baccalaureate, or it's just a little token of thanks, it's just a huge reinforcement of what makes this place so cool, and the relationships that we build here. And it's great to see your students going out into the world and being successful. It's just cool. Just cool.
Okay. I heard you're having a benefit show in Pittsfield.
Oh.
Could you tell me more about that?
Oh, we're still working on it. It's going to be a Celtic cabaret where it's going to be Irish and Scottish music.
Are you Irish?
Part Irish, yeah.
Okay.
And it's going to be down in Pittsfield on the 28th of March at 3 o'clock at the Common Room, which is on 74 First Street in Pittsfield, right next to the Common.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be, I think the tickets are going to be about $10, and we're going to put on this cabaret, and it's and there's going to be tea and cakes, and I don't know if they're going to get alcohol or not, but it's going to be fun, and we're going to make some music, and we're going to have a fun time. And that's the other thing I do on the side is I like to make music.
Okay.
So
what kind of music do you
Well,
play?
in this case it's going to be Irish and Scottish music, but I started being a punk rocker, so way back when. Your audience can't see, but I have a guitar over in the corner that I can pull out and play some blues and clear my mind. And so the only thing I really, there's going to be some of your audience that are going to think I'm a nut, but the only form of music that I really don't get is like avant-garde jazz, like John Coltrane and Miles Davis.
Yeah.
That goes right over my head. I don't get it. I don't get it. And there's some rap music I don't get, but even there I can get some of the rap music, although I could not rap. I don't. My tongue does not move that fast.
Yeah.
But mostly every other kind of music I have played and sang, and from church stuff to punk rock to rockabilly to the blues, I can do all that kind of stuff. So
that's awesome. If you were stranded on an island, which 3 things would you bring and why?
So they have to be things, they can't be people?
It could be either. It's up to you.
My wife would probably hate to be stranded on an island, but it would be really cool. I would hate to. Whenever I travel, I always want to bring my wife. I want a shared experience. So I mean, so if I stand on an island, I like to be able to do it with my wife Cheryl. I would like to have an acoustic guitar with me.
Yeah.
And I'd like to have something, a notepad and a pen, so I can write stuff down. Okay. Because I would imagine sitting out on an island all by yourself, well, even with my wife, that you're gonna have a whole bunch of ideas. I would want to write them down. So I'd want to have a guitar, a way to write down my stuff, record my thoughts and everything, and someone to share it with. And
then for like food and everything, you're just gonna go hunting or
food?
Yeah.
I try to eat anything that we can find. I mean, maybe you go fishing, maybe you go hunting, maybe you're eating bugs. I mean, when I was in the Navy, we had to go to survival school and learn how to eat bugs. Bugs are very, very nutritious. You just don't want to taste them.
Got you.
Make sure you drink some water when you eat your bugs.
Okay. Thank you so much for being on the show.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Inside MCLA is hosted by theater major Joshua Curtis. You can keep up with Inside MCLA on Podbean, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. To learn more about what's what at MCLA, visit our website, mcla.edu.